Einen wunderschönen guten Tag. Willkommen zurück zur neuen Episode Wytchwood. Wir sind auf den finalen Zügen. Ich weiß nicht, ob ihr diese Begrüßung überhaupt sehen werdet, aber egal. So, wir reisen zurück zum Markt, weil wir da dann das Feuer anmachen können und ich nehme an, dadurch dann auch die Seele des Schweins bekommen. Anschließend geht es wieder zurück zum Swamp, weil wir haben ja den Vogelübersetzer gemacht, nenne ich es mal, damit wir eben gucken können, was Sache ist und um den Wolf da rauszubekommen. Striking a spark into the pit, you set the tinders alight. You take a step back, watching the orange flames leap high into the air. The porcine effigy blackens as you tend the fire and fuss over the coals. A succulent aroma begins to waft on the wind. The old man licks his truculent lips hungrily. I swear, I can almost smell a delicious roast. Ah, if only it were real. Over the sound of crackling logs, you hear a crowd of footsteps coming padding down the road towards the cooking pit. Over here, I knew I smelled something good. It's the others, my friends, you've come back. Hey, a ghost. No, wait, is that the old man McGraw? Say it ain't an old-timer. When you never showed up for the morning head count, we all feared the worst. It's true, I end up as a pig fruit. Can you believe that? I worried you would all face the same fate as me. However, did you escape the Hogs farm? It was the strangest thing. The swine sister started complaining about the weather being too hot, even though it's pretty chilly if you ask me. All of a sudden they bolted out into the woods, squealing all the way, left the gate wide open and everything. Then we smelled something delightful in the breeze and couldn't resist. It's been so long since we've had anything other than pig slop. Gosh, that smells so good. Is it barbecue? Ready to get all that food. Oh, es ist so schön, dass wir da was Gutes tun können. In place of the bricks, sticks and straw, the porcine effigy has split into a mountain of delectable sizzling meat. Ham, sausage, bacon, it all looks so delicious. What a wonder, it truly is a feast. Thank you. What did I tell you? Enjoy yourself for a little while longer and be at peace. The starving crowd happily helps themselves to the feast, cheering, laughing, and praising the old ghost's name. You see something twinkle amongst the cooling coals of the cooking pit. Warm to the touch, you pick out a piece of greasy gristle from the snout. On closer inspection, it appears to be 3 separate chunks, 1 fat piece, 1 long piece and 1 small piece, the soul of the pigs. Quest completed von Die Hawk und damit bleibt jetzt nach aktuellem Stand nur noch eins und das ist der Wolf und da machen wir uns jetzt dran. Ich hoffe, ich brauche keine weiteren Items mehr. Wenn das der Fall ist, dass ich nichts mehr brauche, dann werden wir jetzt auf der Zielgeraden sein. Zum Swamp. Einmal zum Swamp, dann hoch in den Norden. Ich ignoriere hier auch alles, außer vielleicht das da, weil davon haben wir nicht so viele. Und dann gucken wir doch mal, was die Eule uns zu sagen hat. Da. Avian Lexikon. You wave your linguistic scroll at the owl, magically quill at the ready. Well, speak up. Who? The squill scribbles across the parchment of its own accord, translating the old hoots into something more understandable. Walk really, native neighbor. Exploration seldom escapes notice. What does that even mean? I thought oats were supposed to be wise. Walk warily, native neighbor. Exploration seldom escapes notice. Was? Oh. Weil da die Anfangsbuchstaben groß sind. W-W-N-N-E-S-E-N würde für mich heißen West, West, Nord, Nord, Ost, Süd, Ost, Nord. Also. Westen. Westen. Norden. Norden. Osten. Süden. Osten. Norden. That must be the wolf's cabin up ahead. He expecting Little Red to come a knocking, so I'll need to use the puppet to lure him into the huntsman's ambush. Use the puppet to lure the wolf to the huntsman. Das war ein cooles Rätsel. Es war natürlich jetzt für mich gerade nicht so schwer, weil die Anfangsbuchstaben groß waren, aber trotzdem. Cooles Rätsel. Hallo. You puppet the red... Warum habe ich jetzt gerade gestottert? The red-hooded door to the door of the wolf's rickety cabin. An evil light glows from within, casting eerie shadows on the ground. You lift the puppet's head to peep through the window, spotting chewed bones and torn rags littering the floor, but no sign of the wolf. Suddenly, yellow eyes step out of the shadows. There you are, my delectable little pork chop. I was beginning to think you had forgotten about me. Through the strings of the puppet, a chill runs down your spine as your animal instincts can't help but scream one thing. Run! Ah! Preparing to hunt under the cover of darkness, the wolf pauses to snuff out a glimmering wisp. You need to use these wisps to your advantage if you hope to outrun the wolf. Ich glaube, ich bin zu langsam. The wolf claws close around the puppet as he opens his jaws right to swallow it whole. Before he can snatch up the doll in his teeth, you yank at invisible strings, pulling the puppet out of his grasp and back to your hiding spot. Drat, I need to start over again. He's fast, but the wisp light might be enough to distract him. Also darf ich auf jeden Fall nicht zurückgehen, wie ich gekommen bin. Sind hier noch Lichter? Hier sind Lichter, okay. Also wir gehen dann hier nach Westen. Nicht straight zurück. Das Problem ist, ich weiß nicht, wo die nächste Ding ist. Okay, da im Osten. Westen. Wo geht's dann lang? Wieder zurück, okay. Ich dachte schon, ich wäre jetzt zu schnell gewesen. Ah, er kürzt ab. Er hat geschummelt, er hat eins übersehen. Erschieß ihn! At your command, the puppet comes to a halt at the center of a moonlight clearing. The wolf bursts out of the shadows, gripped by furious rage. Ha ha ha! There's no place left to hide, little piggy. You are mine now, all mine. Baring his fangs, the wolf pounces into the air with tremendous force. The sound of the thunder roars loudly from across the clearing. Crows scatter into the night air, and the dark wood falls silent. Blinking in disbelief, the wolf staggers to a stop. He glances down at his chest where a crimson spot blossoms out onto his vest. The huntsman reveals himself from the bushes, holding a smoking weapon anxiously. You shot me. The beast crashes to the ground, exhaling his final breath. His glassy eyes transfix on the full moon high above. Hesitantly, the huntsman boggles at the wolf before a triumphant grin crosses his face. I did it! I actually did it! I defeated the wolf! Don't forget that you had some help, kid. This villain won't hunt any longer, and that's what really matters. As the huntsman strikes a courageous pose atop his trophy, something pearly white falls from the wolf's mouth. You pick up a glistening fang broken by the wolf's fall. From deep inside the bloody tooth, you can faintly hear the whimpering of a dog, the soul of the wolf. The soul of the stag, hawk, hogs, and wolf rattle inside your pack like angry insects. That's the last of the villains. Now it's time to put an end to this wretched business with the goat. Haben wir nicht noch so ein... Genau. Bring mich nach Hause. Time to go home. Jupp. Okay, das ist nicht ganz nach Hause, aber immerhin. Nach Hause geht es. Und jetzt gehen wir hier rüber und das dürfte es gewesen sein. Es sei denn, es kommt jetzt noch irgendeine abgefahrene Wendung in der Geschichte. Aber wir können eintreten. Wir haben alle Seelen. Und ich hoffe, wir können die Sleeping Beauty hier jetzt aufwecken. The goat paused the floor with a cloven hoof. You've returned. I was beginning to grow impatient. I would have thought patience to be one of your strong suits. But don't fret, I have brought you the last of your swords. Delicious, are they not? You know what to do. Shimmering sensations of the hawk wash over you. The nip of a quill scratching on the parchment, coins clicking, the sharp snap of a closing padlock. Your eyes water at the smell of the hawks. Grunting swine and buzzing flies, a cleaver falls into a wooden block. Blood, bone, meat. A chill runs through your fingers at the stack sockets into the wall. Condescending laughter, schemes in the snow, pride, arrogance, hubris. Your mind sinks into shadow in the presence of the wolf, soft footfalls padding through dried leaves, hot breath, big eyes, sharp teeth. The collected souls vibrate with incandescent intensity. They seem to melt into their recesses, boiling away into tiny pinpricks of starlight. Soon nothing remains of them except 12 smoldering scorch marks on the stone wall. Ah, well done, that's that. Our contract is fulfilled. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Hang on, what about your end of the deal? You said you would return my memories to me. Did I? Well, perhaps I misspoke. You never really had any to begin with, my dear. What are you talking about? I just don't remember them. I woke up and met me. Yes, that sounds about right for your very first memory. What? But you told me that I brought the sleeping maiden to you, that I asked you to save her soul. Oh, what I meant to say is that she came to me. She asked me to save her own soul. But it's so very easy to get confused. You, her, really, what's the difference? So ich bin das? Dawning realization creeps over you like ice water. Her life was cut short, whether by the wolf's fangs or the hawk's cleaver or under the weight of a dozen other wrongs, I do not know. But in the desperation she called out to me, so we struck a deal. I would save her soul in exchange for theirs, 1 for 12. But it's not like I could let her go and collect them herself. She needed to stay here, you see, as insurance. So what then? You created me, is that it? To collect those souls on her behalf? Well, I should say that she created you, snipped off a piece of herself to do it. It was all worked out in a contract, of course. And now that contract is fulfilled. Panned out nicely for everyone, I would say. So if you, by which I mean she, ever need to get out of another bind, don't hesitate to give me a shout. Ta-da! For now. The room fills with a flash of blinding light. You blink and the goat is gone, leaving only a goat-shaped hole in the world. Slowly, you turn to face the sleeping maiden. You feel sluggish and heavy. You take a strained step towards the gilded coven. Your legs snap like dry twigs and you crumble to the floor. The cauldron is the last to fall. It resounds with a hollow clang as it bounces off the ground. You slowly open your eyes and see the vaulted ceiling of the hall. You raise your head to touch the clear crystal surface of the gilded casket. The glass lid slides open effortlessly and you swing your legs to sit up. The marble floor is smooth and cold under your bare feet. You stoop down to pick up the familiar metal cauldron. Slowly, memories come back as a touch. das war's. Das waren wir. Wir haben da gelegen. Thank you for playing Wytchwood. Vielen Dank für den Key. Vielen Dank an euch für eure Aufmerksamkeit in diesen, ich weiß nicht, wie viele Episoden es im Endeffekt geworden sind. Aber vielen Dank, dass ihr dabei wart. Ich hatte großen Spaß. Es war schön. Es war natürlich ab und zu ein bisschen blöd, dass man immer wieder zurückgehen musste. Aber man brauchte halt Zutaten, so ist es. Und ansonsten, ja, ich hoffe, es hat euch auch gefallen. Letzte Episode, bisschen kürzer als sonst, aber ist ja auch nicht schlimm zum Finale. Bis dahin euch noch einen schönen Tag. Hoffentlich bis zum nächsten Projekt und auf Wiedersehen.